Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker. I just pulled in to put on my cameras and now we are away. And what we're going to be talking about today is a video I watched this morning. A video made by one Mr. Spicy110. Now, if you watch motovlogging in general, you've probably seen and or heard of Spicy110. Before I say anything else, I'm just going to say congrats on passing 100,000 subscribers, bud, because I do think that's quite a hard thing to do if you're not based in the USA as a, you know, a one-person operation motovlogging thing. And not to say that it's easy in the USA, it's just that it's definitely a bigger thing over there. You know, you see even the likes of 44 Teeth, you know, I suppose the countries that understand that type of humour and whatever else are just smaller with less people. But anyway, and motorcycling's more niche over here. The video in question is titled "Have Motorcycles Been Blackballed by the Government?" and I will leave a link to said video in the description. And in that video, Spicy was talking about, you know, the fact that is the government just basically pricing people out of being able to get on motorbikes, making it so expensive that it just doesn't make sense to people as an option of transport. Now, and for safety and lots of other reasons, I watch his video to get, I suppose, the full rundown of his. It's not long if you want to just have a quick look. It's only about 10 minutes. But what I agree with him in a lot of ways. I do think that definitely governments and people, and I'm not going to talk politics in this, by the way, left or right, because I don't care about politics, to be quite honest with you. And absolutely everyone is welcome here, whatever colour you are, whatever you like, and whatever you like to put your bits in or put in your bits, you are more than welcome here. I don't care for any of that stuff, right? The thing is, I do agree with him. I do think there's definitely been a degree of pricing people out of it. And even in a way, I think motorcycling companies are kind of doing it themselves a little bit, whether it's on purpose or not, by, you know, pricing people out of buying bikes just because they keep getting more and more expensive. Now, that's not particularly the manufacturer's fault. They're driven by EU Cat 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 billion to lower emissions and add all this extra stuff. And you know, even now, and a lot of it is good stuff, like ABS being mandatory. That's a good thing, but it's also adding cost. Now, the thing is, here in Ireland, I think it's actually still relatively okay to get into biking. And once you have a bit of experience under your belt, it is far cheaper, in my experience, to run a bike than run a car. That's why I don't have a car anymore. They were just too expensive to tax and insure and everything else. I have 4 bikes on the road right now, and they are cheaper to insure altogether, nice view, than the one car was, which makes no sense because that car wasn't even a performance car. It was like a family car, so it didn't make a whole pile of sense. But anyway, that said, I do think that there obviously has been things that have made motorcycling more expensive. To start out, obviously, Ireland has something called the IBT now, and when I started, the IBT was like 350, 400 euro to do. Latest reports that I've heard is it's upwards of 600, which, I mean, that is a lot of money. But people compare this to cars and say, oh, cars are so much cheaper, cars are so much cheaper. They're not. You actually have to do 12 lessons in order to go for your full test. Last I checked, 12 lessons in order to go for your full test. And those lessons are generally at least 50, 60 euro each. So that's 600 euro if you take it at 50. So it's actually the same, right? So you can write that one off. What is different though is, you know, obviously in the UK, yes, I completely defer to Spicy here. If it's getting more expensive to own and operate a bike and get into biking, fair enough, I can't comment on that. Like I said, it's cheaper to run a bike here. It's kind of equal to get into biking because cars are expensive and, you know, you're just buying your gear and a bike here. You know, everything's gone up recently, so not the best example. But what I definitely do agree with is the safety aspect. You know, like my mother, she still absolutely hates that I have a bike, because she thinks that, you know, I probably stop somewhere and pray to the devil and whatnot, and you know, break bones every day I'm out in it, whereas most of the time I'm just out doing this, you know, doing well within the speed limit on nice roads, just chilling. You know, this is why I actually came out originally. It wasn't really to make this video, I just had, you know, the stuff in my pocket just in case I felt like making something. I was like, yeah, you know, why not? This was a head clearing spin. You know, I get out here because some days you get down, and I know a lot of you can associate with it. I've talked to you about it. Some days you get down, some days things get on top of you, and biking's a great way to clear your head, which, by the way, is a benefit that no one ever talks about. But the safety aspect is definitely a big one. Oh, this is a lovely corner. I need to come on this road more often. It's not far from my house either. It's only about 20 minutes. The safety aspect is a huge one, because, you know, it's historically in Ireland, bikes are known to be like super dangerous and only for bad people and whatever else. And you know, a lot of people try to put people off them. And you know, right now the Isle of Man TT is on, and you know, I'll start by saying, you know, RIP and condolences to the families of the people who were lost over there this year. It was a bad year for it. It was. And of course that's upsetting. You know, no one likes to hear someone of a sport that you follow has died in the pursuit of winning, or not even winning, just even in taking part. Some people they were just doing it for their absolute love of it, their passion for it. And that's a huge thing, is, you know, you only ever hear of the negative publicity of that. You hear of, oh, all of these people have died, but no one ever talks about how happy, you know, that passion, that pursuit made them in the first place. No one ever talks about that their entire life was devoted to that road racing scene in some cases. And that to me is wrong, you know what I mean? Because if you show people this is what biking could be, this is how passionate you could be, this is how amazing it could be as a hobby, of course that's going to influence people's decisions, you know what I mean? They're not just going to be like, oh, it's just dangerous, and it's just a sillier way to get around that only idiots use, you know what I mean? And I absolutely hate that. I really, really do. And I have nothing but contempt for journalists who cover it that way, because it's just a lot of bullshit. And you know, it said it most for me after he won the senior today. Peter Hickman, you know, gave a speech, and also, you know, gave a nod to those we lost this year. And you know, not even this year, every year people get lost every year the TT runs, almost every year. I'm not sure if it's every year historically, but it's a bloody dangerous sport, and it is what it is, you know what I mean? Everyone knows the risks, and he made that point that, you know, everyone who goes out knows the risks, and he knows that that's really cool. He knows that not everyone understands it, but it's what they love doing. And I mean, if I ever had the opportunity, I would love to do a fast lap of the Isle of Man TT. Would I be competitive? No. Would that bother me? Also no. I would just do it for the absolute experience, the joy of taking part in something that I have watched my whole life. And TT Plus Live thing was very, very good this year as well, by the way. Really, really good quality coverage. I highly recommend it. But anyway, to get back on topic, you know, the whole safety aspect of this stuff definitely is rammed home to young people who might want to start out on bikes. And that's a pity, because at some point you'll get to a tipping point that there's just not enough people to preserve what motorcycling is anymore, which is just getting out and enjoying it on any bike, by the way. It doesn't have to be a sports bike, it doesn't have to be a cruiser. We're all the same at the end of the day. We like to get out, clear the heads, we like to get out, go fast, which, you know, I do recommend doing the really fast stuff on a racetrack. It's what I do, and it is safer, you know, it is factually safer, and you learn a lot about it. So I will say that, you know, I'm not condoning going out and going absolutely mental on public roads, because you could hurt yourself or other people. But anyway, you know, that's definitely a huge part of it here, is that, you know, people are actively put off from the pursuit of learning to ride a bike from a young age, just because it's perceived as incredibly dangerous. You know, you don't hear the same thing about horse riding. Horse riding is very dangerous. You know, skiing, there's so many dangerous sports, and what I worry about is there's such a push by people who sit inside their houses on their comfortable couches and point at people like us who do things that are more dangerous than what they do, and they say it should be banned. And they say it should be banned because it's for our own safety, and we're idiots and we couldn't possibly understand the risks that we're putting ourselves through. Yes, we do. We absolutely 100% understand the risks that we're putting ourselves through, and we're okay with it. We are okay with the risk that we go out and subject ourselves to, because in our heads it's worth it. And I really do hope that at no point in the future people who don't actively participate in something are able to get it banned because they don't like it or think it's unsafe. You know, Spicy also mentioned the noise cameras that they trialed in the UK. I hope they never work, you know, and I hope they get shoved up the hoops of the people who suggested them, because they're a load of bollocks. You know what I mean? Yes, okay, some people have excessively noisy exhausts. They are in the minority, people. They are in the minority. If you keep going and aiming for your lowest common denominator, which again I have mentioned in the past around speeding, and Spicy mentioned around making rules and stuff, you can't just keep setting things off the lowest common denominator. You should set it off, you know, at the very least, your average. I don't know. But basically I do agree with Spicy in a way that motorcycling is kind of trying to be pushed to the outside of society, trying to be made into something that it's not, trying to be made into something more dangerous in perception. It is dangerous. Don't ever let anyone tell you that it's not dangerous. It is definitely relatively more dangerous than traveling by car. So what? You know what I mean? If you get on your bike and you're aware of those risks and you're comfortable with them, you should be able to do what you like. And you know, at the end of the day, you are your own person. And I don't know, I get very annoyed at these things. I'll try not to be as annoyed anymore, but it's just, it bothers me. You know, it bothers me that these armchair experts get to try and make up rules for people when they absolutely shouldn't get to make up rules for people. Yeah, anyway, that is my little response to Spicy110, basically. Yes, I do agree with him. I think he phrased it very sensibly. He probably phrased it in a much shorter video than I did, because I can't get to my point quickly, as always. And yeah, like, if you are someone who is watching this video and you're interested in getting into bikes, don't let the stories of people who've never ridden a bike put you off. That's all I'll say. Talk to an actual biker. Talk to me. Talk to someone else you know who rides bikes. And you know, I'm sure some of them will have stories of accidents to tell. Some of them will have stories of injuries to tell. Some of them actually might try to dissuade you, especially if they're close relations, because, you know, I don't think there's many of us who haven't been touched by a story or you know, someone that you do know who did suffer a bad accident, whether it be fatal or not. Those are things that you have to accept are part of being part of a wider biker community. And it sucks when it does happen, but you know what? I bet you for people who ride horses, for people who race cars, for people who climb mountains, I guarantee you they get just as upset when they lose someone from their sport as well. But does it stop them doing it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, the likes of Alex Honnold of Free Solo fame, the likes of your man Leclerc from The Alpinist, which is another great film. I love watching stuff about climbing. I don't think I'd ever do it. I think it's it'd be outside of my comfort zone, even if I got fit enough to do it. But I can absolutely respect what they do, and I can respect the passion they have for their sport. Anyway, that's kind of all I had to say on the matter, really. Yeah, basically everyone go say hello to Spicy, give him an old subscribe, say congrats for hitting 100,000 subscribers, because it is a huge feat, and he has been at this YouTube thing a long time, and well deserved. Oh, this bike is fantastic. All I will say is, if you do decide to go... Why are you flashing at me? If you do decide to go and learn to ride a bike, consider getting training. I would always recommend people get trained properly, because it could save your life. Anyway, that's all I have to say on the matter. As always, thank you very much for watching. A huge mahoush of thank you to all of my patrons. I do really appreciate the support you give the channel. and I am trying really hard to get back on top of my schedule to get plenty of early access videos out again. I will explain why I fell behind very soon. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Adios. Outro crew. Do you have any other sports that you absolutely love that are considered dangerous by people? And just because they're dangerous, has it ever almost put you off doing said sport? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested. Personally, I can't imagine things being dangerous unless they're absolutely wildly dangerous, putting me off doing something that I want to try. But that's just me. That is just me. These are lovely roads. Anyway, bye outro crew.